to talk about this thing again? It's been a week and I still can't grasp that this is an actual thing. But no, this is a legitimate product. They released Pokemon games on the Sega Pico. Yeah, official Pokemon games on a Sega console. And there's 3 of them, so let's dive in. In a video I did a few years back, which I should probably remake because I've improved a lot since then, I covered these 2 Sega Genesis Pokemon bootlegs. They're just platformers, but again, they're bootlegs, they're not official games. However, these games are actual licensed Pokemon games on a Sega console, and it sort of blew my mind when I found out about it. Previously, I looked at the Sega Pico, and while I didn't look at every single game, I looked at all the ones that interested me at least a little bit. After all, there's only 20 games that made it to North America, but in Japan, they saw much more. The Sega Pico lasted about 4 years over here as well as in Europe, but in Japan, the Pico lasted for well over a decade. Even the one import game I have is celebrating 10 years of the console. In addition to that, in Japan, they received over 300 games for the console as opposed to R20, and they got some weird stuff over there. In addition to the Pokemon games I'm gonna be talking about in this video, they also saw a bunch of Super Sentai games on the console, which is just really weird to me. But maybe you want to play some fighting games on your edutainment console, I don't know. Thankfully, the Pico is a region-free console, as all consoles should be, let's be real. And in Japan, they got these really sturdy, nice-looking clamshells, while we got these crappy cardboard boxes in North America. I'm not even gonna attempt to say these Japanese titles, so we'll go by the translated titles that I found on the interwebs. First up is Pokemon Catch the Numbers. Now, before I look at any of these, I want to make it clear that these games are obviously entirely in Japanese, so if I missed anything, it's due to the language barrier. After the title screen page, you have the second page of a scene with a bunch of random Pokemon on it, complete with legendary birds, Moltres and Zapdos just vibing. The lore in a Pico game is that it appears Team Rocket has kidnapped your Pokemon and your goal is to get them back. And what better way to do that than to play some mini games? First page in this game is the scene that I just mentioned. It doesn't seem to have anything on it game-wise unless I'm missing something. Just some of these Pokemon make noises if you press them. And then if you go to the second page, it seems that there's some actual games there. Thank goodness. First one I encountered is basically a Kaboom-inspired game where you play as Chansey capturing unmarked pills, money, and X-Lax? I don't know. What kind of Pokemon Center is Nurse Joy running here? Where the way they function is that a Psyduck just tosses medication into the air and they hope that Chansey catches it. Why are there random urchins in this Pokemon Center? So many questions. The other minigame that I stumbled across on this page can be played by pressing the building. You're in an elevator and you have to select the correct floor. This might be a math themed thing, but due to the language barrier, I have no clue what I'm doing, and math can just get After you beat these games, each time you get a Pokemon that you unlock. I guess you gotta capture them all to beat the game. Considering I'm too dumb to beat the elevator game, this will remain unbeaten. Oh well. Other games are much more simple, at least, like Count the Whoopers. Hopefully I don't screw that up. After that, it's just a mini game that's sort of a horizontal version of the Kaboom game, only you're playing as a Jigglypuff who's hitting the musical notes and you have to avoid the mystery boxes. Who knows what's in them. A nice touch of this game is that after you beat it, the screen afterwards has all the characters from the anime with Marco drawn on their face. It's a nice attention to detail from the show. But we're back to making no sense. This one is a pick your path sort of thing. Apparently Snorlax is bad, Flower's good, Tire bad, Furret good. I don't know the pattern here, but apparently this Diamond, at least I think that the Diamond is bad. I don't know. Next minigame. This is the final minigame, I think. It's a top-down adventure sort of thing where you have to navigate the levels, pick up the items, and avoid the Team Rocket Pokemon that's poorly guarding a doorway. There's a few of these, and in between them is a pick a path portion where you have to match the shape of the key that you got in the previous level with the correct doorway. After that, I think you save all the Pokemon. Not much more to say here, except there's also the typical painting program at the end like I mentioned in the previous video. This one has some very interesting paintbrushes and some Pokemon stamps, but really not much more. Well, the first game was based during the second generation of Pokemon. This next one was released a little later, and as such, it was during the third generation. Here we have Pokemon Advanced Generation. I've begun Hiragana and Katakana. What a translation. Thank you, Internet. So this one has even less meat on the bone. The primary focus of this game is just to teach kids how to write. Of course, in Japanese. You pretty much just trace the Japanese characters, and after you do like 5 of them, you catch a Pokemon. It's pretty tedious, but again, it's a small children's thing, so it's whatever. Mixed in between is good old-fashioned gambling, just what the doctor ordered. We got scratch-off tickets where you have to get this Pokemon within the shape, but if you get it wrong, Meowth just gets all up in your face. And of course, there's slot machines, which are oddly enough rigged to let you win. I definitely lost this, but it just like corrected it, so I got 3 Pikachus. Isn't that classy? And you know, you draw more letters, and then you got this segment that's sort of like an insanely watered down Hey You Pikachu, where you can pet Pikachu, feed him, make him ride a skateboard and jump on a trampoline. Isn't that beautiful? But that's all nothing compared to the greatest minigame on any of these Sega Pico Storyware cartridges. We got this weird Rayquaza game where you fly as Rayquaza and you collect hearts in the sky. You control it with the touchpad and the stylus, and this game's just really hilarious to me because they didn't even bother to properly animate Rayquaza, so it's just like guiding a pencil up and down to grab the items. Ooh, just pretend it's Rayquaza. And all that just to get a Pelipper. Come on now. We both know I'm never going to use that thing in battle. And then of course the game ends with the paint program. We get it. I don't need to tell you more. Finally, we have Pokemon Advanced Generation. Pico for everyone. Pokemon Loud Battle. Oh my god, these titles are amazing. And unlike the other games that I looked at, this game is in a massive box. And well, that's because the Sega Pico actually did have accessories for it in Japan. There's a catalog that came with catch the numbers that showcases some of them, such as a train controller for a Thomas and Friends game, interactive Ultraman action figures, which is just really cool. And apparently this game had a stove controller. Oh my god, I want the Sega Pico stove so bad. But this game includes a controller that has Pikachu's face plastered on it. The Storyware cartridge itself has a controller port on it, and I assume with all these other peripherals that I mentioned, and the several more that exist by the way, this is how you manage to hook them up. But here we are playing Pokemon Advanced Generation Pico for everyone, Pokemon Loud Battle, and what a spectacle it is. Let me say to start, it's so nice not have this console chilling on my lap for the entirety of the play. This controller isn't anything amazing, and it's enormous. Who needs the Duke when you got Pico Pikachu controller? It starts off with this first page where it appears that Meowth is chasing Pikachu, but they're just running in place, so I guess I'll just hop into the minigames. It's rivals Corphish and Cacnea, where they fight to compete to catch the most acorns. But avoid the sticks because Wurmple is a troll and he will kill you with those sticks. Every time Corphish catches it, it's like Link in Legend of Zelda when he acquires an item. I can't wait until they give Corphish his own action-adventure spin-off. After that, I guess Pikachu and Meowth weren't chasing each other, but racing, because that's what the next minigame is. It's just basically a kid-friendly version of the race in track and field, as if the track minigame from there couldn't get more simple. Meowth is pretty bad at this though. He keeps running into every rock. I mean, come on man, it's not that hard. The second page has you on the water. I guess Catch the Numbers was a number-based title, and the other one was all about writing. This one's just a straightforward minigame collection. On the second page, you get another racing minigame, only this time you're underwater playing as Mudkip racing a Carvanha. Another simple one, but I couldn't figure out how to avoid these tentacles. Oh well, I still won, so I guess it doesn't really matter. This minigame has you compete with Pikachu and Meowth again, where they have to fight off Golbats that fly out of the cave. Pikachu just shocks them, but Meowth throws rocks at him. What an asshole. Obviously, you hit more Golbats than your opponent and you win. Next game. This one, you got Torchic and Wobbuffet racing in minecarts through a cave, avoiding obstacles. This one's probably the best part of the package, but then again, you know, it's really simple. Not that any of that is surprising given the demographic. The final page has them atop a volcano, and it appears that Charizard got stuck under some rocks. I'm not sure how, but okay. Also, are the protagonists in Team Rocket just like on a vacation trying to have field day events or something? I don't know the context behind this game. It doesn't have sweet lore like Pokemon Catch the Numbers. Did Team Rocket try to kill Charizard? I don't know. On to the next game. In this one, you're just playing as a Trico going up against a Nuzleaf trying to get to the top of the mountain as you jump on various branches. Sure, this one is the final part, I think. I'm guessing Pikachu and Meowth need to cross lava to get to Charizard, but it's pretty much the same thing as the Trico and Nuzleaf game, only there's fireballs coming down, and if you get hit by 5 of them, you have to retry. This one was kind of tough, but not due to a legitimate challenge. The rocks you hop up onto are just so high up, and you don't have much time to react to the fireball, so I always got hit. But I did it, just barely, and I was rewarded with the mini game of rescuing Charizard. Basically, you go from side to side and avoid the fireballs again, only they're much easier to avoid this time because you're lower on the screen. Pikachu just keeps using his Thunderbolt on the rocks, and Meowth just throws smaller rocks at it. Yeah, that'll totally help. But eventually, the thunder prevails and you rescue Charizard, so I guess I beat this game too. You're rewarded with a still image of the characters celebrating, complete with Jesse dabbing and James doing a T-pose. And that's really it. These games are really interesting to me, though they are hard to play at some points, if not only due to the language barrier, since these games did not get released in the US, obviously. I guess out of the 3, the Loud Battle one would be the best one, but, you know, that's probably due to the fact that it had a proper controller, which I appreciate. But, I mean, if you're a Pokemon collector, these might be up your alley. They're not rich in gameplay or anything, but they really are a trip. The Sega Pico overall is just a fascinating thing to me. People always talk about Sega obscurity such as the 32X, but people rarely bring this thing up. Sure, it's mostly licensed games and games catered to 3-year-olds, but I think that the Sega properties are still intriguing, and the fact that officially licensed Pokemon games exist on a Sega console is a fun factoid. In fact, these aren't the only licensed Sega Pokemon games. The Pico actually had a successor console known as the Advanced Pico Bina, which apparently had 4 Pokemon games on it, but I don't have this thing nor the games. But maybe one day I'll take a look at it. Now I never have to cover the Sega Pico again. I hope. And no, I am not covering the V-Smile. Wish I could play the Sega Pico with the Duke. How cool would that be?